Rashad
You're
Day is
live.
on the
You're
on
live.
that.
Oh, we're live?
Yeah. Not
Okay.
that you can talk or
We'll give
whatever.
people
It's
some
just,
time
yeah. Just
to hop in.
be careful what is said.
Oh, yeah, we're not going to mention certain things. I'll just say, not that, if we're not going to talk about that. All right. Oh, let me show this to the record.
Let me share. Look, it's Moses. That's Moses and that's Jesus and that's Moses.
Here we go. Hold on, what else we got? No, not this one. This one.
Let me.
This one is the Massachusetts State Police Prisoner Property Inventory. The date is 11/17/2020. Station State Police Foxborough.
Hold on, let me share it really quickly.
Don't exit the video.
I'm not. Hold on, let me make sure that they can see that. Because I just shared it to Facebook. Okay. Back up a bit. Okay. So we titled this Moor releases himself. Moor frees himself from jail. Which is Rashad Bey here. I've never personally seen a Moor do it from inside. So, big ups to him.
This is the one you can.
No priors, no record. He got profiled, of course.
Can you please state your name for the record?
Rashad Day, for the record.
Can you show me that photo? Is that you?
This is me.
All right. So, November, was it 17th, right? Tuesday?
17th Tuesday, yep.
Yeah.
Resident Moors was on official business going to court for another Moor in Salem, Massachusetts. We were in a 2-car convoy traveling north on the Interstate 95 on our way to Salem, Massachusetts. At around between the hours of 8 and 9 a.m., at the junction where I-95 and 93 splits so you can go into Boston. That area is known to have traffic, right? I was in the lead automobile, and we noticed on the left-hand side a Massachusetts, I think it was a state trooper, right?
State trooper, yeah.
State trooper.
You want to close that a little
He
bit?
was parked on the left shoulder with his lights on. Right? I remember seeing his lights on. And then I was on my phone, not really paying attention because it was full of traffic. So normally people don't get pulled over in the middle of traffic, right? Traffic. And when I say traffic, I don't mean commerce. I mean cars were bumper to bumper, taking either the 95, going left to 95 north, or going right to 93 towards Boston going north. Right? So people were bumper to bumper. Normally in that area it's like that. So I wasn't really paying attention to the state trooper. So I was just on my phone. Juju noticed in the rear view mirror that the state trooper who was on the left shoulder with his lights on ended up pulling over a car that she thought was your car, right? Mm-hmm. So I called Leonidas to ask, are you guys getting pulled over? He told me yes, and then he said, I'm going to hang up so I can record the incident, and then he hung up. And then what?
So after he hung up with you guys, that's when the state trooper walked up to the car. He asked for my registration because he said that the police come back to another car. So I asked him when I'm being.
Let me stop you there. So he said he ran your plates?
He said he ran my plates, yep.
Mm-hmm. And the plates are showing up to another car.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
Because my previous car had the old plates. I transferred the old plates from the old car to the new car.
Mm-hmm. And that pink slip is?
The registration, which I gave to him, that proves that the car was registered, and the date when it also expires.
So you did the registration. I'm going to try to hide private information just so that they can see. I'm just gonna show the Rashad Bay part, where your three national names on this.
And this can be looked up too, far as the MV1 form that's on Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, where the auto tag dealers, they use that when you transfer registration from an old car to a new car, or you just get a new registration, they give you that pink slip.
Alright, so I'm just gonna block everything so you can see the name Rashad Bay on there. All his private information is being blocked. Right above this thumb.
Oh, okay. See the bay there.
It says Rashad Bay, right?
Yeah.
Let me see if I can show anything else. So I just try to identify it.
Like the top title.
Yeah, it says Akron.
Yeah, it says on the top it says MV-1 7-19. Then it has the vehicle description. It says the application information. Then towards the bottom it says application for registration. And then it says notarization. So I'm going to show the notarization part.
3 more
And
weeks
month is
for the
10,
baby.
The day is 31. The year is 2020. Alright, so obviously this ain't. And it says on the bottom, applicant's copy / temporary registration valid for 90 days. So,
And with
this is from October.
yeah, and with COVID, you already know everything is moving really
Everything's
slow.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, basically, he pulled you over for nothing
Yep, exactly.
because you showed him this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
And actually, when we got our car, we tried to register it just so we're safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the DMV said they're not registering, they're not doing new registrations, they're only doing renewals, right? So we couldn't even register our car. So we called the cops and let them know. They said, "Oh yeah, we already know.
Mm-hmm.
We already know the DMV's backed up, so we're not even pulling people over for that."
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And when we was in Maine, right, we was traveling back south, and someone had a piece of printer paper. It said COVID-19 on it as their license plate.
Yeah, flapping in the
A piece
wind
of paper with ink.
like a Sharpie.
Said
They wrote COVID-19.
And there were cops on the road.
Yeah.
Right? So,
Yeah.
all right, so he pulls you over. He said he ran your plates
Mm-hmm.
and the registration was wrong.
Yes.
So that would be his probable cause, right?
Yeah.
He ran your plates, registration was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So he claimed.
So then what happened?
So after I gave him the registration, he briefly looked at it for about 5 seconds, folded it up, put it in his pocket, and that's when he began to ask for a driver's license. And I told him I don't have a license, I'm traveling. And he said, "Listen, I'm not doing this right now with all this traveling stuff. Where's your license?" So I began to give him my national identification card, which says Rashad Bay on it. I handed it to him. He looked at it, and then he called for backup because he said driving without a license is a arrestable offense. So after backup came, he took me out of the car, put me in cuffs, and took me in front of his car and began to check the registration on the computer system in his car. During that time, when he was doing it, checking it on the computer, he still said that it comes back to an old car and the car's not registered. And shortly after that,
So, it says on that piece of paper, it says at the bottom in red. It says it right here. I'm looking at it. It says it right there. Applicant's copy / temporary registration valid for 90 days. So I would assume that if you go to the DMV and you're getting something transferred, they give you this temporary thing because they know, everybody knows the DMV is slow. So it would make sense that they give you this temporary so that way if you get pulled over, you can show the cops something. They can say, "Oh, it says temporary for 90 days. The month says October, the day says 31st, and the year says 2020. It's November. Okay, you're good."
and even on here too,
If that's his probable cause, right?
and even on Part G on this registration, it checks off right here where it says transfer a previous issue registration plate. So that proves right there that the old plate from the old car
You can't
transferred to the new car. So that was the proof right there. But obviously he didn't read the paper, or he feels though what reflects in the system actually stands, rather than looking at the document. So after that, that was his reasonable cause to stop me and pull me over.
That was his alleged probable cause.
Alleged probable cause.
But didn't he say that the paperwork came back all clear?
Yes, he said that later on that it looked like I did the right thing. Everything checks out on this paper, but it still reflects in the system that the car is registered to another vehicle.
And the paper says Rashad Bay on it.
Yes, it says Rashad Bay on it, yes.
Okay. So if the DMV recognizes you as Rashad Bay,
And
the cops recognize DMV paperwork, then the cops should recognize you as Rashad Bay.
Mm-hmm.
and
What else happened?
So after that, I got transported to.
hold on, let me just add one more thing for the record. You had a bunch of other cards in your pocket, like insurance, bank card,
Yes, he
and
had that too.
Yeah. Can
Yeah.
I see those IDs?
Yes.
All those cards.
that say Rashad Bay.
I knew everything.
So this is your
Nationality
nationality
card.
card, right? I'm gonna hide the mailing location.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It says Rashad Bay on it. Right? You see it on the camera? What else you got?
Bank card.
Oh, bank card. Hide all of that.
Nah, let me get that.
It says Rashad Bay. This is TD Bank.
Yep.
What else?
Work ID.
Oh, the work ID. Anything private on here?
No.
I'll just hide where you work and your employer number. It says Rashad Bay right there. And the year 2020. Anything else?
Lifetime membership card.
Anything private on here?
Lifetime. What's that for?
That's a,
Insurance?
A fitness center.
Oh,
Yeah, gym.
What else?
Philadelphia Training Academy card.
Jesus Christ. What is this?
That's for the range.
the
Is
gun
that your
range.
address?
No, that's the address of the range.
Anything?
Nothing on there that's private information.
I'll just
Yeah,
all
probably
right.
just the club member number.
All right. Rashad Bay. So this is for a gun range.
Yes, gun range.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
a gun range. Interesting.
Your
Anything
picture
else?
came out good in that one too.
Cards.
Two medical
It's photogenic.
cards.
I'm not photogenic at all.
Uh,
Just hide the insurance numbers.
well, there's just a lot of numbers on here. There's a lot of stuff on here. I think.
You show this one just covered at the bottom.
Yeah.
Well, all right, that's enough. You get it.
Yeah.
These, I can verify that this says United Healthcare. It says a plan ID number. There's a member number. There's a group number. Then under member it says Rashad Bay, and then it says dental identification number, payer ID, and then there's a number. And on the back it says for providers dental claim PO Box 30567, Salt Lake City, Utah. Blah 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 blah. This is a United Cornucopia,
Concordia.
ensuring America's dental health. It says cardholder's name, Rashad Bay. Then it has an identification number, a group name,
All right, carry on.
etc. What is that?
That's not private. That's I got certified in
National CPR Foundation,
Mhm.
student Rashad Bay. All right, you had all this on you
all this on me.
during
Yeah.
the stop.
Yes.
Okay, so you hand him the registration that says it's valid for 90 days,
Mm-hmm.
which I mean, what's 90 days?
Well, if it's from the end of October, yeah, it's 3 months.
So it would
November,
end in
December,
It would end January 1st,
January,
right?
or not the first, but whatever day.
October, November, December.
Yeah.
'Cause It says October 31st on it.
So
it's
November, December, January
And
31st.
like February 1st.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you had your wallet on you with all those IDs on.
Yes. He
Okay,
checked
so-
all. Yep. He checked the wallet right on the car when I was outside, in front of his trooper car.
And Leonidas has it on camera, right?
Yes.
All right. So you give him the registration. He takes it. He brings asks you to step up the car.
Yes.
Then he handcuffs you.
He had. Yep. As soon as I got the
Puts
car.
you in the back of his car.
He put me in. I was standing outside in front of his car and behind my car.
Handcuffed.
Handcuffed. Yep.
He goes inside.
Mm-hmm.
Checks the registration.
Mhm.
He says it's good. Or he doesn't say it's good then.
He didn't say it's good then. He said that later on when we got to the barracks.
Okay, so after you're between your car and his car in cuffs, he's inside checking the registration. What happened?
So when he checked the registration, he said that the car is not registered, so they're gonna have to tow the vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after, that's when the tow truck came to pick up my car, and they put me in the back of his truck.
I remember them because when I was on the phone with you a few times, well, with Leonidas, with, when you guys were going to the whole stop, I remember he didn't even want to tell you what he pulled you over for in the first place.
I heard you ask, "What you pull me over for?" On the phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you got arrested. The tow truck comes. Then what?
That's when
Did he tell you what you were being arrested for?
he told me driving without a license. But initially, he said that the car was registered another vehicle. That was his alleged stop, his alleged probable cause. He pulled me over because he ran a tag and said that it came back to another car. So I didn't even get pulled over for like driving without a license because you can't. How you gonna know it's not license?
Right.
So he pulled you over for invalid registration.
Mm-hmm.
He checked it in the computer,
Mm-hmm.
and since it's allegedly not registered to that car, it's invalid registration, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he doesn't charge you with that. He charges you with driving without a license.
Yes.
How is that right? Right, it should have been driving without a license and no valid registration.
Exactly.
What else? So, all right, so you get pulled over, blah blah blah. You're arrested. You go to jail.
Yes, I go to jail.
What happened?
So
You
they,
get to jail.
so they took me to the barracks,
They take you to the barracks first.
Oh, they tell a story.
Yeah.
and then that's when they was asking me questions as far as about my name. You know, do I go by any other names?
Mhm.
And they began to process me. They started to fingerprint me.
And you never been arrested before?
Never been arrested.
No priors.
No priors.
No.
No criminal history. No records. No
So-
nothing.
So they wouldn't be able to fingerprint you and then find anything.
No.
So they had to book you as Rashad Bey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it says on the paper.
That's exactly what it reflects on the paper. Yep.
All right, so what else? So you get processed, then what?
So later on, 2 policemen come in and said that, yeah, we found a gun in your trunk, and asked me, is it yours? And I said, yes, it is mine. And they asked me what was in the bag, and I told them what was in the bag. It was 2 8-round magazines and 2 10-round magazines, and also inside the bag there were a handful of bullets that was in the zipper area.
All right, so wait. So you get arrested. They tow your car, which means they no longer have. The police don't have it. The tow company has it.
Yes.
And there's nothing about no type of gun charges then.
Nope.
So how did they find anything in your trunk? And did you consent to a search of your vehicle?
No, I did not consent to any searches or seizures.
So that would mean that the search of your trunk, because you said it was in your trunk, right?
Yes.
And I assume your trunk is locked, right?
Yes, it was locked.
Okay, so they open your trunk, your locked trunk, and they search it,
Yes.
and they find your firearm.
Mhm.
Was the gun itself loaded?
The gun was unloaded.
It was unloaded.
Yes.
So the gun wasn't loaded at all.
No, it wasn't loaded at all.
The magazines were loaded,
Mm-hmm.
but the magazines were outside of the gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there were bullets, what, in a bag?
It was in the bag. And the gun was in the same bag, but 2 different compartments.
Mm.
So the gun was in one compartment, unloaded by itself, and then one compartment was where the magazines were at. Loaded.
So they had to unlock your trunk,
Mm-hmm.
open it, then look around, find the bag,
Mhm.
open the bag, several zippers,
Mhm.
and then find whatever it is that they found.
Yep. Exactly.
What else did they ask you about when they came to speak to you?
They asked me about. They found a mason jar in my bag, and they asked me if it was a bomb.
This. Exhibit A.
So, all right, so wait.
Since lotion is foreign to
they
them.
found- so you're telling me they found this in your bag?
That is that. I got it in my bag. They said, "Is it a bomb?" And they didn't know what it was. And
All right, so wait. These are cops.
these are cops.
Like law enforcement officers.
Law enforcement, yes.
Like law enforcement officers. Like you go to the academy
Yeah.
and you got a gun in the bag.
You get trained, all of that.
They
And
asked, wait,
state police on top of it.
stop.
Not even
They
city
asked
cops.
you if this was a bomb.
They asked me if there's a bomb
So-
or explosive device.
Did they bring it to you?
They didn't bring it to me.
What did they say?
I asked them to bring it to me because I know we don't want to do that.
How did they describe it to you?
They said, what's in the bag is yellow, and I didn't know what they was talking about. And they was like, you don't know what we talking about? And I said, no, I don't know what we're talking about. Like, they had to show me a picture of what they was talking about.
They took a picture of it?
They took a
To
picture.
show you?
They took a picture
It was
of
on
it.
their phone?
It was on their phone. They brought it to me and they showed me a picture, and I just showed them what it was. I told them what it was. I said, it's shea butter. And they started looking at each other, and they said, how was it made? What do you use to make it? And I just said shea butter and olive oil. And then after that, they just must have took my word for it and examined it, looked at it, and put it back.
So they found a gun, right? So now imagine you're them, right?
Mhm.
You're unlawfully searching some shit you're not supposed to be searching anyway.
Yeah.
But they do it under the name of an inventory check, right?
Mhm.
So what they try to do, the police try to say we're going to do an inventory check, so that way, once the car gets towed, the police will document everything that's in it, so that way people can't report anything stolen. But they're using that to bypass searches, to bypass the Fourth Amendment, to bypass them having to get a warrant. But the name inventory just means you look at something, you write it down, and you put it back.
Meaning they should have seen the bag and wrote down the bag, not gone through your bag to
Yeah.
even find there was your unloaded
And
firearm
even if they
with
did go through
mags.
the bag, you still write down unloaded firearm and put it back.
Mhm.
Several magazines, put it back.
Mhm.
Ammo, put it back.
Mhm.
Right?
Yep.
All right. So you're arrested. They're unlawfully going through your bag. They find a gun, so they're scared, right? Oh my God, this guy must be a criminal, right? That's
Mhm.
probably what they're thinking.
Yes.
Then they find this. They're like, oh my God, he must be a domestic terrorist
Exactly.
because he got shea butter in his bag.
Yes. That's exactly. how
Did
it-
you laugh when they asked you?
I didn't laugh.
You
No.
were just
He was confused.
Yeah, I was confused. I didn't know what they were talking about.
All right, so they show you the picture of the shea butter. So they ask you if it's your gun.
Mhm.
Did they say they're gonna charge you with anything?
Please, I'm sorry.
They said I'm now being charged with possession of a firearm.
Okay,
And the initial stop wasn't for a firearm.
this is for registration.
For registration, yes.
Okay. Then what happened?
So after processing me in the system with my fingerprints,
Wait, did they treat you different after they found the gun?
they did treat me different.
How so?
Yes. Because they thought I was committing fraud based on them asking me what's the name of like the person that registered the gun, and I said this is
Thank
my
you.
gun, Rashad Bay, but it's a straw purchase, which is also the straw name.
Yeah.
That
So for the
was
record, straw purchases in certain states are legal. You just look it up. It's called a straw purchase.
Are legal.
Yeah, it's legal.
Yep.
So we're not talking more about that. So they just thought it was fraud because. Wait, first of all, when you buy a gun in Pennsylvania, do you have to register it?
No, you just do a background check.
So how would they know what name purchased it? Because that, to me, that sounds like a violation of the Fourth Amendment again. Because if you go to a store, right,
They
you
should
buy something, that receipt or that information is
Should
between
be
you
private.
and the store.
they should only
No one can just search through the store shit and say, "Tell me who bought this and when they bought it."
they should only see your background check, if anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So they started looking up serial numbers and everything like that
Okay.
into the system.
So that's when they started treating you different.
Yes.
Okay. Then what happened?
So after that, they did the inventory check. I was sitting there for an ample amount of hours. First he was saying that I was going to be released on $40 bail multiple times.
Then they found the gun.
Then they found the gun, and then everything changed after that. And later on the day, they said that I will be released on a $15,000 bail.
With no surety. So it was just straight. You had to pay
$15K.
No
Percentage,
5%,
right.
20%, just $15,000.
Just $15,000, yes.
And this is still the day of Tuesday, right? The
Still
17th?
Tuesday. Yes.
Then what?
So after him processing the paperwork, they put me in a cell.
And you're in the orange jumpsuit at this time?
I'm still in my camo gear.
Okay, so you're still in the barracks.
I'm still at the barracks, yeah. So they processed me. I'm asking the state trooper questions prior before going to the cell. I asked him, "Do you guys have plate scanners on your car, or did you manually run the plate?" And he told me that he manually ran the plate, and he also mentioned that the registration that I gave him, everything checks on the registration, but it still reflects something different in the system. And based on that, he's still saying that the car wasn't registered because in the system.
Even though that says valid.
Yes, exactly.
So, at what point did you get transferred to wherever you got transferred to?
I got transferred later in the afternoon. It was probably about 5 or 6 o'clock. I got transferred to North Fulton County Sheriff's Office. They brought me in there. Now when I got transferred, the property that they took and they did the inventory with, they're supposed to get transferred along with me, but they kept that at the barracks.
Mm-hmm.
So they just took me to Norfolk Sheriff's Office and they processed me there. They did the same thing. They did the fingerprint scanning.
Mm-hmm.
They took my picture, and after that, they put the label Anthony Gesson on me, as the straw name.
Mm-hmm.
They placed that on me. But when I was at Foxborough? When I was at Foxborough, they had my free national name on the record on the inventory list. So that's prior before even going to the sheriff office, and they had me in the system now as Anthony Guest. So yeah, that happened when I got there. They just processed me, took a picture, and that's when they took me to a cell.
So they took you. Okay, so you were in the cell then.
Yes.
So they gave you the orange jumpsuit then.
Yeah, when I got there, yeah. That's when I took all my clothes off. They put it in their inventory.
And that was Tuesday night.
That's Tuesday night, yes.
What happened Wednesday morning?
Wednesday morning, I had court.
Wait, did they feed you between the time of the arrest, which
From
was
like
9 a.m.
8:30,
time,
yeah.
to when they brought you to the sheriff's, whatever, which was late afternoon? Did they feed you at all?
They fed me around 8 o'clock.
What did they give you?
They gave me 2 pieces of bread and some lettuce leaves. That's it. Nothing else, and some milk, which I didn't drink. Yeah.
You're vegan, right?
Yes.
So you don't drink.
I don't drink no milk.
Did they offer you water?
They didn't offer no water. They said they don't have any water. I only can drink the sink water. They don't have.
Which is attached to a toilet, right?
Yes, attached to the toilet. Yes.
So that's disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened Wednesday morning?
So Wednesday morning I had court. Via video
Zoom,
call,
right?
Yeah, Zoom. And during the video call, I'm speaking to
Ms. Collins, right?
Ms. Collins,
She was the prosecutor.
prosecutor, and the judge. I don't remember.
Is his name on the release conditions?
Yeah.
I don't see his name because the signature is a scribble.
Yeah.
I also don't see any other signature on here except for the judge's signature.
The other one, that's the copy they gave me. They didn't give me a copy of the same thing I signed. They just took this thing I signed and just gave me that.
Okay. All right. So you're in court on a Zoom meeting, but you're still in jail.
Yes.
And what happened during that hearing?
So during the hearing, they bring up the charges of driving without a license, possession of a firearm.
And they didn't mention nothing about the registration?
No, they didn't bring up nothing about the registration. That wasn't even brought up into the conversation.
Okay.
And during that call, they was trying to mainly not even bringing up the whole driving without a license. The main thing they was trying to hit me with was the gun charges.
Mm-hmm.
An impersonation.
And
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she Miss Collins, right? She also brought up how she read the police report, right? And we have recordings of us listening to the court proceedings.
mm-hmm.
And she stated out of her mouth that, and I'm going to paraphrase, but I have specifically word for word what she said.
In the
down.
same sentence.
But she said, you failed to identify yourself, but then produced an identification card.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you? Because to me that doesn't make sense. I can't say you owe me money, but then you paid me,
Mm-hmm.
and then say you still owe me money.
Yeah, that don't make any sense at all.
Right.
And yeah, that is on the record.
So, all right. So the hearing is she reads the charges, then what?
She reads the charges. Based on the policeman that wasn't available at the time of the arrest, wasn't be able to talk on the video call, and by them also saying that they didn't want to release me because I'm quote unquote a dangerous person to the community and the environment. They held me for another 2 days.
So the hearing was to determine if you were dangerous or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the hearing was a dangerous hearing to hold you up until trial, right?
Yes.
So you're not even supposed to be out according to that hearing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay. So during the hearing, she says whatever she says. What do you say? What do you say to rebut anything that she said? What did you say, if you remember off memory?
Now this is the first hearing or the second one?
The first hearing.
So the first hearing, I mainly brought up, it was a lack of due process.
Why?
Because the Fourth Amendment states that the right of the people to be secure in a person's houses, papers, and effects.
But you did specify on the record that your car was searched after you were arrested,
Yes.
without your consent. You said that in court, because you were on Zoom, but that was still court, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you said that in court.
Mm-hmm.
What else did you say?
I brought up there was no probable cause for the arresting policeman to stop me or even like lock me up and take me away, because traffic infractions is not a crime. And State versus Edward, which is federal case law and also stare decisis, states that in order for a crime to exist, it must be an injured party.
Okay, and did you ask the judge anything specifically?
I asked the judge, did he take his oath to uphold the Constitution, and he said that he's not answering that question. And then that's when I quoted Article 6 of the Constitution.
Off memory, right?
Yes.
So you had no papers in front of you?
I have no papers, no.
And you didn't call us to ask us for any advice, right? You got arrested,
Mm-hmm.
they arraigned you,
Mm-hmm.
and you couldn't call us, right? I wasn't there standing next to you saying good job, right?
Mm-hmm.
None of that.
No,
It was
no,
just
yeah.
you in jail
Mm-hmm.
by yourself,
Yeah.
starving,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to argue your
Don't
way
give
out.
these trolls any
Very next day, yep.
any
Less
attention.
than 24 hours, about 24 hours at the arrest, I didn't have no time to prepare the defense for myself or anything. So just based on me like studying and on law, I just had to go with what I know.
So you're telling me you studied law beforehand,
Yes.
just to study,
Mm-hmm.
because you know they violate us all the time.
Yes, absolutely.
So you had the mindset of, although I know I'm not a criminal and I don't plan on getting in any trouble,
Mm-hmm.
but based on the several thousands of documentaries that people have put out, you know, Senate hearings, congressional hearings of the United States admitting that they have unlawfully sent people to jail.
Mm-hmm.
They've convicted the wrong people who've done over 30 years in jail.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of was like, well, this might happen to me because they do it to our people all the time, so let me study this information.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
And it ended up helping you
Yep.
because you couldn't call on nobody.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't ask for, no one was holding your hands.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say, Jamal, send me a template. Leonidas, send me a template. Juju, send me a template. Jen, send me a template. There was no one there to send you nothing.
Nope. Nothing.
So it was all off the top of your head.
Mm-hmm.
So after you asked the judge, did he take an oath to the Constitution, and he refused to answer it, what happened?
I stated Article 6
Mm-hmm.
of the Constitution, which states that this Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made, which shall be made under the authority of the United States, should be the supreme law of the land. And judges in every state shall be bound thereby anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary, notwithstanding. And that's Article 6. And all judges and judicial officers take an oath to uphold the Constitution.
So when I was on the call, on the hearing, basically what the scenario was the prosecutor put in a motion to hold you pending trial based on you being dangerous.
Yes.
The judge then stated what?
He granted a motion without no probable cause.
He granted the motion.
Mm-hmm.
So now, you just said he granted the motion without probable cause. The reason you say that, right, is because Massachusetts general law
3.1a.
3.1a, 3.1d, and 3.1g state the following in said order: that no person shall be held for more than 24 hours without, a warrant or probable cause, etc. Then it states 3.1d that a judge must specify in writing or orally what the probable cause is. Then G states that if there's no probable cause found, i.e. stated for the record, then that person must be discharged immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Exactly, yep.
So based on the judge not saying, which we have on video, which we're going to produce as evidence to sue these people, because they're violating their own laws,
Yep.
right? Their own due process.
Yep.
Since he failed to specify in writing what the probable cause was, he wasn't supposed to grant their motion to hold you.
Nope, not at all.
So then what happened? So after the motion is granted to keep you, what happened?
They scheduled the next date for Friday, and
Which was yesterday, right?
yes. And during the time on Wednesday after the video call, I got taken back to my cell, and during those 2 days, I just had to prepare a defense for myself.
So between Wednesday and Thursday, you just prepared.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And then Friday, what happened Friday?
Friday, this was the next video call hearing at Norfolk Sheriff's Office. And during the time when I had the video call, I just see myself in the video call. I couldn't even see anyone else. And
Hold on, let me just clarify for people. The court proceeding was a Zoom meeting. The first one, we could just sign in and we could see Rashad, but we couldn't speak to him. So he was there basically alone. He could see us for a minute, but he couldn't hear us because they had us muted. So he was there, standing on his square on his own. So go ahead.
Friday morning.
so yeah, Friday morning I have the next video call. The judge, he put his name on the record, and also the prosecutor, her name was on the record, and that's when the floor was given to her to speak on the charges that's being brought forward against me, and something add on to that.
So during that proceeding, the cop was there, right? The cop
was there this
stand
time, yes.
under oath, right?
Under oath. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what he said under oath?
There's a second
said
hearing, right?
under oath that I asked him the wallets that was in the my IDs that was in the wallet. I asked him how many IDs that he seen that said Rashad Bay on it, and he said he don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
But we even have on video of the initial stop or the alleged crime that happened, that he was in front of the car looking through the IDs to see, through my wallet, through the wallet to see what I had in it.
So before you cross-examined him and asked him that question, do you remember anything that he said about what took place as far as why he pulled you over? Because to my recollection, he said you were following a vehicle too close.
Mm-hmm. That's
why he pulled you over.
exactly that was his probable cause on that second hearing. That's what he said his probable cause was.
Well, he wasn't at the first hearing, so
Yeah.
So this man, right? He claims to be a law enforcement officer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Massachusetts State Police
Mm-hmm.
claim that on the split, the junction of the 95 North and the 93 North to Boston, where it's known to have traffic,
Mm-hmm.
that his probable cause of stopping you was because you were trailing too close
Yes.
to a vehicle.
Mm-hmm. That was probable cause. Alleged probable cause.
Does that make sense to anybody?
No, because we were all in
Hold on,
bumper to bumper
I'm
traffic.
gonna see if I can pull it up right now. You know, you can zoom in on maps, and if it's red, there's traffic. Let me see if I'm doing that right now, just to see if I'm drugging the blood.
It might not be so bad because it's a Saturday, but
Well, it might be. Oh nope. The lie detector test determined that was a lie. So this, you see where it says 95 right there. This is the
hold on, I'm
95.
trying to. Can you put it
This
over
says
here?
93 right there.
And that's
93,
right now.
95, and this is right now.
Same area.
So the red and the orange means it's traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So you go straight to the 95 and you turn right for the 93. That means it's traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Right now. So this area, ask anybody
From that area or
anybody in Rhode
Massachusetts.
Island or Massachusetts that takes that Interstate 95, they're going to tell you there's always traffic there. So what they do is they take 295.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So this man said that in court, under oath. Do you remember anything else that he said?
Not exactly, no. As far as the
Okay, so is there anything else specifically that you remember hearing yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the main things that happened that, the prosecutor tried to change the course of the hearing. She mentioned that I'm a danger to the environment, and I didn't injure anyone, I didn't damage anyone's property for me to be a danger to the environment, because like I said, for a crime like this, you gotta be an injured party. And also, there is the Sixth Amendment says that in all criminal prosecutions, I have the right to question my accuser, and no one was accusing me of anything. And
What did she say about the evidence that they found?
She said that it was 2 guns inside the bag with multiple magazines, and the state trooper himself that did the inventory that checked through the bag, they only found 145 semi-automatic arm.
That you purchased legally, right?
Yes, I purchased
You do the background check and everything.
everything. Yes.
Okay, so,
Peaceable
just for the
journey
record-
laws.
Yeah, I was gonna go that, but just for the record, how can a prosecutor state any material facts as to what happened if they weren't even there? That's one. Then 2, I remember you stated multiple times, federal law, right? The laws of the United States, right? Article 6, the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, pursuant to the Constitution, that is, dealing with the Second Amendment. Title 18, which deals with crimes. Subsection 926 alpha, or A as in alpha, deals with the right to peaceful journey.
Interstate travel of firearms.
Interstate travel of firearms. And it states that as long as the person isn't prohibited from having a firearm in the state in which they live or they domicile, which it was purchased in where was it purchased? Philadelphia?
Philadelphia, yes.
And you did the background check.
Yep.
So you're not prohibited from having it there, right? And you're not prohibited from carrying it in the state that you're entering to, which you're not. And the firearm is unloaded, which it was.
Yep.
It's not easily accessible to the driver or the passenger, right?
Yep.
It's not in the glove compartment,
No.
right? And that means it basically says the federal law says that you can travel through the state peacefully.
Yep.
And would you have been able to access your firearm that's in your trunk locked while traveling on the highway?
No.
Why?
It's impossible. So I'm in the car. the arm is in the trunk.
Okay. So according to federal law, I'll read it. Just for the record, I'll read it. Even though I cited most of it, right? We'll do 18 USC 926 A. Cornell.edu. Good? The actual. It says, notwithstanding any other provision of any law or any rule or regulation of a state or any political subdivision thereof, any person who is not otherwise prohibited by this chapter from transporting, shipping, or receiving a firearm shall be entitled to transport a firearm for any lawful purpose from any place where he may lawfully possess and carry such firearm to any other place where he may lawfully possess and carry such firearm. If during such transportation the firearm is unloaded and neither the firearm or any ammunition being transported is readily accessible or is directly accessible from the passenger compartment of such transporting vehicle, provided that in the case of a vehicle without a compartment separate from the driver's compartment, the firearm or ammunition shall be contained in a locked container other than the glove compartment or console. So that's just saying if you don't have a middle console or the glove compartment, it has to be locked. It can still be in the car, but it has to be locked. But since it's in the trunk, you can't get access to it.
Yeah.
And since the trunk is locked, it's considered locked. So not only can you not get access to it immediately, but it's also locked.
Yes.
Right? What were you going to say?
They asked for you to read the title again.
It is 1818, right? 18 USC as in United States Code, subsection 926A. Interstate transportation of firearms. So, you bring that up in court. several times.
Yep.
And what was the outcome of that?
Now, another thing I too, before I get into that,
Mhm.
also want to bring up that she said that I didn't properly identify myself, and federal law, Title 18, Section 1028D states that a nationality card falls under the Real ID Act, and also underneath the Department of Justice website, Criminal Resource Manual, it also mentions that
Number 1508.
1508, that a driver's license and a birth certificate is not ID.
It's technically a license.
I'll read it.
It's a license is pretty much a replacement for the lack of having a nationality card.
You know we've done this like a billion times.
Yeah.
Right, so if you go to justice.gov, if you go to Google and you search justice.gov space CRM, as in Charlie, Romeo, Mike, which means, which stands for Criminal Resource Manual 1508, it's called specifically mentioned identification documents. Then it cites 18 USC 1028, which is what you just said.
D3.
It states right here, Section 1028 of Title 18 designates 3 special non-federal identification documents and gives them preferred treatment. These 3 documents, in
Preferred.
the absence of a nationality card, which means if you don't have a nationality card, then they'll accept these other 3 documents, right? So they're saying, so the federal government said, if you don't have a nationality card, they'll accept these other 3 documents, which means the nationality card is primal, right? It continues to say these 3 documents, in the absence of a nationality card, are the primal means by which an individual establishes his identity in the United States. The 3 documents are A, birth certificate, B, driver's license, and C, personal identification card. So let's go to B, driver's license. It states B, quote, driver's license, unquote, is not defined in 18 USC subsection 1028. The original purpose of this government-issued document was to state that a particular person was authorized to operate a vehicle upon the public roadways. It was not intended to establish one's identity.
Exactly.
So you stated interstate travel and the fact that your ID is valid pursuant to 18 USC subsection 1028 D3 and 1508 of the Criminal Resource Manual of the United States Justice Department and the Real ID Act of 2005, which references 18 USC subsection 1028 D3.
Yes.
Then what happened?
After that, that's when the case went on, and the judge, started asking another question that really had nothing to do with the case.
And what'd you say?
I object to it, and I asked him, what does these questions have to do with the case?
So you said, what's the relevancy of these questions?
What's the relevance of these questions? And he just said, they're relevant, and he'll get to that. During the time after he asked these questions, the prosecution tried to give me 2.5 years minimum for possession of a firearm and saying that I'm a danger to the environment and to the community, and also try to give me with a $25,000 bail. A $25,000 bond without bail. Or,
15.
I don't remember exactly, but I do remember we called and they said they wanted 15,000, and they said it was like when you can hear someone smiling or whatever. Yeah, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah, they were like, it's gonna be $15,000.
Yeah. So, long story short, what does the judge say at the end? Wait, so at any point in time, did you think, oh fuck, I'm not getting out?
Language.
Yeah, when
sorry.
yeah, I did feel that way. Based on what the prosecution was saying, and I felt like during the time the judge was siding with her, and based on some of the things he was doing, I was like questioning his impartialities to the case, because United States Courts Codes of Conduct states that a judge must disqualify himself if his impartiality is questioned due to him probably having interest in the case.
Mm-hmm.
And during that time, he said that he was going to release me after she tried to offer 2.5 years, or try to get him to give me 2.5 years for the alleged gun charge. And he threw it out and basically let me go.
With no cash bail.
Yeah, no bail.
And I just want to clarify, the amount of stuff that he's saying on this live right now doesn't even touch how he slayed them. He was calm, cool, collected, and he just kept hitting them with law, with law, with law. And I have to just talk about the importance of knowing this before there's any issues, because Rashad has no priors, he has no criminal history, he's never been arrested before, but he already knows this law, and he understands this isn't a get out of jail free card. It's simply to help you fight the tyranny that our people fight every day. So since he was already studied, he already knew what to do. He didn't wait until he was in jail to, oh my God, let me read the Constitution. Oh my God, let me nationalize. Oh my God, let me reach out to the Moors. Oh my God. No, he knew exactly what to say. He knew how to stand on his square, and he was already well studied. So we're in charge of our own salvation, and this is very important for you to know.
Yeah, during the case, there was a whole lot more information and facts that was being put on the record, because when you're in that type of situation, the energy is a whole lot different than me just sitting here and explaining what happened.
Your life is on the line.
Yeah, my life is on the line. So
your life and your liberty.
My life and my liberty. So just sitting there, being locked up for almost more than 70 hours, I just try to think of everything that I studied and just bring that from my mind onto paper. And
so you're basically saying the salvation was yourself.
Yes.
Just like it says in the Quran, you're going to save yourself. You placed your hand in Allah's hand, which is you, and you got out of that.
Yes.
We assisted, but it was all on your shoulders.
And I've never seen, this is a first time Moor. I mean, he might have gone to like a municipal court, but he's never been, like I said, he has no priors. He's never been to like court for, criminal charges before. So for a first timer he was in jail, no longer in, state barracks holdings. He was in a correctional facility.
He didn't just show up whenever he wants. He was held.
Yeah, in jail and got himself released. I've never seen, and the way he presented and carried himself, like I said, we've gone to Moors we've been with Moors who have gone to court multiple times. I haven't seen anybody able to stand on their square and firmly be able to, articulate themselves as well as he did. And I think it has a lot to do with, having a strong mind and keeping your mind focused on the information and what you're going to say, and just continuing to go over it in your head, because exactly, Rashad was in there meditating on what he was going to say, rehearsing, writing it down. And that got you through, I'm assuming, those days that you were there.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to show this video. So this video is from yesterday, 10:38 a.m. The video is 48 minutes. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm just going to skim to show people that.
You should show that one, the one that she has.
What?
From.
She recorded? Oh, we can do that. I just want to show them that this is real. Right? So this is the Zoom meeting, right? That's Rashad right there. Right? This was the participants. Right? You see Rashad talking. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but just so you can see that this was real. Right. That's me. That's
We were witnesses to his case.
That's Juju. And then towards the end, he got up and left. And then we picked him up.
Because he said, I can get out today. All right, I'm going to head out.
I'm deliberately not playing the audio, so don't even ask questions.
Oh, I think it's that. Oh, no, he's still listening.
He's gonna stand up and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
He said, am I getting released now? And the judge said, okay. He's like, all right, get my shit and leaving.
The look of relief.
Then he walks away.
You want to bring yours up? Is it okay if I play this video?
That's fine.
It has audio, that's fine?
That's fine. Yeah.
Alright, let me see if it's turned. It's up.
Oh yeah, did you do mock court?
Hold on. Hold on, shush so they can hear this.
Required or potentially a danger to public safety. I therefore impose the following condition. I'm releasing you on the following conditions. Number one, that you will not commit federal, state, or local crime during the period of release. Number two, that you will maintain or actively seek employment. Number three, that you will not possess a firearm, destructive device, or other dangerous weapon. And number four, that you will refrain from
Oh, the bird hears himself in the video.
any narcotic drug or other controlled substance without a prescription from a licensed medical practitioner. That's that.
Jesus Christ.
The bird.
That's it, sir. It's over. We're gonna give it a date, though.
Okay, relax. Relax.
Alright. So it was very emotional. You can hear us crying in the background. We're all yelling and cheering because this is real life. Like,
So Leonidas and I were doing push-ups. We were mad. I was shaking because, you know, this isn't the first time that this happened to a Moor who's innocent. And they just, you know, they just take him through the process. He didn't do anything wrong. We basically feel fucking hopeless because we're outmanned, right? And we're basically hoping that words are going to get us out. When we know these people murder us. We know that. So
and you
I
know,
was crying.
COINTELPRO is a thing, and they're, you know, the FBI is watching, and they're, what they do is they try to infiltrate what we're doing here at Rise of the Moors, and anybody who becomes involved with us or comes around us ends up getting, they try to shake them down so that way we lose their support, to try to just stop the movement and the momentum that we have. That's basically it. Can you open his cage, please?
Do they have any questions?
Who has questions for Rashad or Jamal? Let me see.
He's closing it. He's closing the cage.
We'll wait a few seconds to see if anybody has any questions.
Don't let me out. Let me do it.
It's because the stick is in the way. He's trying to come out.
Where you going? What's this feather? Go claim it. Take it.
We have some good ones, though.
It's yours now. Somebody gave it to you. Pretty bird. Who's a pretty bird?
So the code was, I believe it's 18 USC 926A, as in alpha or apple. Any questions? Someone said, I'm proud of you guys. Good job, Moors. How do I nationalize? You can just, on YouTube, say you're a Moor and you're nationalized.
I just want to make a statement that we don't need mock court. Because if you know the information, what do you need mock anything for? Right? Because, you know, there was times when the so-called judge made it a conversation, right? So now you're just talking.
Yeah.
How do you prepare for that?
Exactly.
You can't.
When I first started learning, I thought it was like a certain process, like a step 1 and step 2, how you're supposed to do things, but it's just like you're just going in there, you're just having a conversation, and you're just defending yourself. That's all it is. Yeah, it's very simple.
The only thing that's a process is you have to get arraigned first. And they normally call that a hearing.
Yeah.
Then there's, you know, preliminaries, or they'll call that pre-trial conferences, or they'll just call it hearings.
Yeah.
That's the only process. That's it. Arraignment, So a few hearings in between.
Yeah.
Pre-trial and then trial.
Yeah.
That's the process. That's it.
Yeah.
And during those processes, it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
It's nothing to prepare for.
Yeah.
It's either you know the information or you don't.
Yeah, it's common sense at the end of the day. You just, read, study, and basically when you go into court, you just have to study the Constitution because they're obligated to it, so you just have to enforce it. That's one of the main things Noble Drew Ali told us to do, is enforce the Constitution.
And you do that in court.
Mm-hmm.
It's called raising the federal question, or diversity of citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Pretty. So there's no questions. We'll hop off. Look, now we're not charging you for this. You have people charging you for this, and they never been to court, and they got no victories. They can show you proof.
So, just so you know, too, instead of like trying to buy tickets to like a mock court or whatever, usually I know COVID-19 or sovereignty packages. Yeah, I know with COVID-19, not all courts are open, but some courts are definitely open. We just went into a court the other day that was open to the public. So you can just call different cities and you can just show up. You don't have to have a case or anything. You can just say you're a witness to someone's case. You don't even have to say anything. Just it's public. It's open and free to the public. So you can walk in, sit down, and just sit down for a few hours and see how they put our people through the ringer, and see what the prosecution does, see what the judge does, and you'll see that it's like everybody's reading off a script, and it goes the same exact way because nobody knows how to present themselves. And once one of us steps into court that's competent, they want to save you for last. They want to act like, they'll call recess. The court opens at 9. They're calling recess at 9:15.
Leonardo sent the video.
Oh, he did?
It's only 3 minutes. But,
I'm still waiting for questions here. If you guys have questions, I'm giving you a minute
that's the shot
to...
right there getting put into the car. All right, look at the traffic. Look how slow all the cars are going.
If you have questions, type them.
If you have questions, ask for Shaw. Because he got the answers, obviously, because he lived it. He's not talking about he studied this information, so let me tell you what to say in court. Nah, he got himself out. And think about this. How many people you know have weapons charges and they're getting out without bail?
Yeah.
No probation. They're just out. How many people you know?
So, let me see.
Without an attorney.
Yep.
And in another state territory.
Yeah, where they're not from.
Yeah.
And everybody know Massachusetts gun laws are strict. Everybody know that. Not so bad.
So, let's see.
You want to ask any questions?
Yeah, I'm just reading. It's like mostly comments. Someone says, how do they nationalize? I'm self-taught. So, you just declare your nationality. There's no such, there is paperwork that you can fill out, but it's not necessary. Chinese people don't have to fill out paperwork to say that they're Chinese. They're just born that way. You're born a Moor. The paperwork is just to articulate that to anybody you want to articulate it to. We have a video on YouTube, on our YouTube channel called How to Nationalize, to give you more of a reference. On riseofthemoors.org, we have free nationality papers. You can create your own. We also have paid nationality papers, ones you can buy if you want seals and signatures. The free ones don't include seals and signatures, but you have different options there. Somebody said, do we do nationality cards for members? We don't have nationality cards, but if you go to rvbaypublications.com, which we have no affiliation with, but rvbaypublications.com, that's where most people get their nationality cards from. We don't know anybody in Ohio, but Henry L., if you go to our YouTube channel, this YouTube channel that you're watching right now, I did a video, actually I did 2 videos, but the newest one called How to File a Lawsuit in Federal Court, or Filing a Lawsuit in Federal Court, something like that. I go by step-by-step instructions on how to fill out the paperwork, and I even read an affidavit and an appeal. Literally everything you need to defend yourself is there. So I suggest watching that.
Oh, yeah, anyone telling you anything about court, ask them for proof. I don't care who it is. Ask them for proof. Oh yeah, wait. Show me the thing where they signed.
How did he get a weapons charge if while investigation they would have seen it was legit?
So this is the
I'll get back to that one right.
Sheriff's Office, Attachment A, Offender Personal Property Form. It has the inmate number, the booking number, the date 11/17/2020. Offender Personal Property Form. Then it says clothes, hat red. Somebody's scared of the paper. Pants camo, shirt black, shoes brown boots, gray socks, sweatshirt green, underwear black. Then it says property disposal. Then it says, I understand that the NSO property disposal process, and understand that I am responsible to pick up my property or authorize someone to pick up my property within 60 days of my release/transfer date, or the property shall be disposed of as seen fit by the assistant superintendent and property officer. Then it says inmate signature and property officer signature. Is that your signature?
No.
Oh, the one where they put a line through it?
All right, so
That's
the
crazy.
top one, this one says inmate signature. This one says property officer signature. And he just said that that's not his handwriting.
That's crazy.
Computer generated.
So that's fraud.
Mm-hmm.
That's fraud. Either it's fraud or it's identity theft. One of them. Or both.
Rico G, I mentioned earlier, RVBayPublications.com does IDs. We've gotten into federal court with these IDs. People have gotten onto flights with these IDs, so you can do that. Let me see.
So no one was there to hold your hand.
No.
Did the Moorish American consulate help you?
No.
He wasn't able to get his arms back because the case is ongoing, but he did get his car back, and he has a new date, a new court date. So we're gonna keep fighting to get those charges dismissed and to get his property back.
Again, ask yourself, because I already know what the naysayers are gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you didn't beat the case because they still have the firearm. Okay, dummy. Show me 10 people, 5 people, 2 people, one other person that you know with the same charges, and they're out right now.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself is a victory.
Mm-hmm.
Without an attorney, without paying bail, because we didn't pay a dime. And we can get Lee Nice on the phone right now if he's not in the comments, and he didn't pay a dime. Did you pay for anything?
No, I paid nothing.
So show me any other Moorish organization, any other human being on this planet that is facing possession of a weapon, and they're out without doing any time served, without probation, none of that shit. Show me. Not saying that that person was, challenging. I'm just saying there's gonna be some idiot to say it. Guaranteed. Because if you're out free and you just gotta show up to court 6 months from now, you ain't got nothing to worry about. It's not like you're in jail 6 months until the trial and you're still trying to get out. No, you're out. So what? They got what? A piece of metal?
Mm-hmm.
So what? I'd rather them have my piece of metal in their evidence locker than me in the cell and my piece of metal in the evidence locker.
Mm-hmm.
So come on, let's be serious. Let's talk about the things that actually matter. Is this man free or not? Yes.
And stop listening to Moors. That's always saying Moors don't go to court because the prophet want to say study, 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 and
To not use the information.
Yeah, and then when you ask yourself what to study next, I'll say you study. I'll give you what you say, a favorable reply. Study yourself.
Yeah, he said, those who doubt whether my principles and philosophies are necessary for the salvation of my people and citizens, go to those who know law and ask them in an intelligent tone, and they'll be glad to render you a favorable reply. He also said to enforce the Constitution. You can only enforce the Constitution in court. It's called raising the federal question.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you didn't go. You were fucking stolen. Yeah. So what other choice did you have?
Yeah.
Language.
It's not like you went to court and you're filing a claim against someone.
Mm-hmm.
They took you against your will.
I couldn't send in no paperwork. I couldn't do any of that. I didn't have nothing to read. Barely even had a pen to write down things.
Mm-hmm.
And had to just find someone that had paper so I could just write down things that was already in my head to defend myself.
That's it.
Someone says they'd like to know where they can start gaining the knowledge from. Go to rvbaypublications.com. We have no affiliation with them, but they're pretty much a free Moorish university online. Also, our website, riseofthemoors.org. Our YouTube channel is Rise of the Moors. And I would watch Taj's videos on House of Reawakening Binds. And that's Taj Tariq Bey, if you don't know. You might want to know. The gun travel law, you can rewind the video once it's done, and you can hear everything about the case.
You see his foot up there?
Yeah, it's like tucked in this fire.
This person's question wasn't really specific, but they're asking what was going through Rashad's head.
You do that?
What was going through your head?
Oh, I was thinking that I was going to probably in there, you know, for I don't even know how long because, you know, they kidnap our people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we can stand on law,
Mm-hmm.
but honestly it's up to, you know, the judge or the magistrate for them to be honorable or not.
Mm-hmm.
And
We already know they're terrorists.
yeah,
And we know people who have been held in just the intake building of correctional facilities for 5 years, just awaiting trial, right?
Pending trial.
Right.
He's out.
Right.
Pending trial. Out. Free.
No bail.
No bail. Nothing paid. Not a dime. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
No surety. No. You got to put $15,000 down and surety on your car, so we take your car as collateral. None of that.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people going through that right now. There's moms that have to pay bail for their sons and put up their house as collateral.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be serious. Let's be real serious, because this is serious.
yeah, we can't be naive because, you know, it might not be going on to, like, you because, like, in the same situation, somebody can be driving or traveling having a license, and then they can have an arm in their car, and they can still get charged with the same thing even if they have a license.
Mm-hmm.
And the next, you know, they got to hire an attorney and so forth, and they wind up getting some time for just exercising the right.
Or a plea.
Let's look at Philando Castile, if I'm not saying this.
Yeah, you're right.
He had a license to carry.
Mm-hmm.
Notify the police
That it was in there.
I have a gun and I have a license to carry.
Mm-hmm.
The cop asked for ID. He said, "I'm reaching for my ID." Right?
Mm-hmm.
The cop said, "Stop reaching for your gun." He said, "I'm not reaching for my gun." And what happened? He was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
So let's not act like these people are going to recognize if you have a rectangle or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the licenses is a rectangle. All the driver's license is a rectangle. These people don't care if you have a rectangle or not. Period. Who'd you study from?
Who I study from?
Yeah, where'd you get your information? What did you study? All that stuff.
I read United States Supreme Court case laws,
Mm-hmm.
Black's Law Dictionary. I suggest a 5th edition or older. RV Bay Publications, that's an excellent website to study. It has so much information
Mhm.
that you can like grasp and
You
understand.
get a headache real quick.
Yeah.
There's so much to read there.
What else?
Constitution.
United States codes.
Mhm.
Yeah, Constitution, law and principles. I have that book, and yeah, most definitely, yeah, study the Constitution and treaties.
Mhm.
You study from Taj?
Yeah, I learned from Taj. Learned from you, of course. Um, that's basically it. I just learned from like you and Taj, and listen to what you guys say, take notes, and make that information mine. And do that by studying. Don't just
So-
keep regurgitating what somebody else say.
Would you listen to us because we can run our mouth real good, or do we have proof?
Proof. And based on the things that I learned, I cross-reference, and it turned out to be true.
And then you just live through it, right?
Yes.
And then what? It turned out to be truer.
Yep, exactly.
So-
It's like, yeah, everybody gonna have their time,
To be tested.
yeah, you gonna be tested.
Actually, speaking of that, go ahead. I just want to read this when I read it.
Yeah, I was about basically myself, yeah, you're gonna be tested, every more, if you're active for the most part, you're gonna have your day in court. And if you're exercising your right too, you're gonna have your day in court. Especially if you're traveling and you don't have a license, or
Any
you travel with
rights,
an arm, like, yeah, anything. any right that you're exercising, you will be challenged.
So this is from the Quran of Muhammad, chapter 29, verse 10. It says, "There are among men such as say, we believe in Allah, but when they suffer affliction in the cause of Allah, they treat men's oppression as if it were the wrath of Allah. And if help comes to thee from thy Lord, they are sure to say, we have always been with you. Does not Allah know best all that is in the hearts of all creation?" Then chapter 10, verse 13 says, will ye not fight people who violated their oaths, plotted to expel the messenger, and took the aggressive by being the first to assault you? Do ye fear them? Nay, it is Allah whom ye should more justly fear if ye believe. So all these people talking about they're upright, independent, and fearless, and they're so woke and they have all this information and they exercising all these rights. As soon as they get tested, they're folded like a chair.
Mm-hmm.
Because they actually don't know. They actually don't believe in the stuff that's coming out their mouth. Then they, because Moors have said, the reason why we're under FBI investigation is because we don't honor the Prophet. So now they're making it seem like the FBI works for Allah and Noble Drew Ali. Another group of idiots said the reason why we're under FBI investigation is because we don't honor Narragansett Indian land. Let's be serious.
Oh my god.
There's evil men doing evil shit.
Mm-hmm.
So if you try to expose what they're doing and stop it, they're gonna fight you. Is that Allah doing it? No, it's them. They're doing it. So you fight them. Not, oh, let me just pray and this is gonna go away. Oh, let me just say the universe is mental and then this is just gonna stop. Because did you think I'm gonna get pulled over today, I'm gonna get pulled over today, I'm gonna get pulled over today, and then you manifested that shit, or did it just happen?
It just happened.
So we can't say universe is mental and then when shit like that happens, oh, that's his fault. No, we know these people do we know they're criminals. We know that for a fact. We know. There was a whole documentary on Malcolm X and how he was assassinated by these people. What was it? Those 5 children, what was it called?
Central Park 5.
Central Park 5. 5 children spent years in jail. A few of them died in jail. Wrongful conviction. There's other documentaries on Netflix where they show the same thing. Our people going to jail for shit they didn't even do for years.
Oh yeah, the one we was just watching the other day, he went to jail for like 22 years.
Yeah.
Because he went to the store to get diapers for his child.
Same
And
night a cop was killed.
in that parking lot, a cop was killed in that parking lot. He had gone into the police station to
Because
his cousin was murdered.
Yeah.
So he went to go give information of his cousin's murder, and they asked him, what he was doing on some night, and He mentioned that he went to the store and had gotten diapers.
Go home. You want a bite?
And since he was there at the pharmacy that the cop was shot in, they decided he was the gunman without
Yep.
any evidence.
Yep.
Zero evidence to prove that he was the gunman, just because he was there, and he was a Moor, undeclared Moor. But you know how many other people were in that pharmacy that night?
He's really fighting me.
There was a whole woman in the car with that cop who got shot, having an argument with that cop. That cop had his pants around his legs, so obviously there was some type of foul play, and they're just pinning this on a stranger.
We
Yeah.
know they unlawfully arrest people all the time and convict them of
Right.
crimes they didn't commit. Congress already admitted that.
So, I mean, Bay, I can't scroll up far enough to see your question because the live comments only show so many, so I can't see your question. Let me see, what other questions?
If you don't have anything else to add, we can end the video. Ain't no priest around here. I ain't no middleman.
Kush Day says, great demonstration, Rashad.
Thanks, brother. Peace.
Someone's asking what's going on with the open federal case. It's still open. I don't.
Nice.
I believe he's talking about Leonidas' case. Yeah. How do Moors travel internationally with the nationality? How do Moors travel internationally if there is not a valid Moorish American passport?
Let's take care of home first.
Take care of home
Let's worry
first.
about not being unconstitutionally pulled over by a cop and then thrown in jail, given an inmate number, fingerprints taken unlawfully, photo taken unlawfully, and them taking your property unlawfully. Let's deal with that first. Then we can deal with, let's go other places on vacation and see other people and stuff like that. Let's deal with home first.
Yeah, we understand that people have families in other countries as well. So if you need to travel, internationally,
Deal with the fact
the
we're colonized.
straw name is
Get your US passport,
their
we're
s-
colonized, and
right.
deal with it.
Their straw name is their straw name. So use their straw name to get one of their passports, and you can travel that way. But if you want to travel as a Moor, we have to establish a government, have a constitutional convention, establish a government, and then enforce our national IDs. So we need to stop focusing on, let's get a Moorish American passport that somebody created
Let's
that's
put the
backed
cart
by no
before the horse
government.
and try to go forward.
So yeah, if we can just all come together and focus on the actual issues at hand, which is the lack of our own government
The lack of competency.
and the lack of competency. Yeah.
Everywhere.
No, someone asked if you had just gotten out from an illegal arrest without the status being established. No, he did tell them on the first Zoom hearing, he did mention, that it was a Moorish American national ID card. And at the end, he said, for the record, I want to state that I'm not a U.S. citizen. And they actually cut him off. They cut his video and audio so that he couldn't say anything else.
Did you get deported after you said that?
No, I didn't get
Did you
deported.
get detained by ICE after you said that?
No.
But he did mention it again the second hearing, and we'll be filing a formal notice as well to the issue of diversity to citizenship.
Wait, are you sure you didn't get deported? Are you sure? Because I'm just asking. Because you Moors be making stuff up. Even though you showed me all this evidence, y'all still be making stuff up. So I just want to know if you got deported.
We already showed the national ID card in the beginning. Let me see. CJ Davis, you can come up anytime. Just let us know when you're coming so we can make sure to be here. And we actually, we would have to make an appointment for that. So that way we can, again, make sure that we're here and we don't have other obligations. We don't have the weekly conference calls anymore, but I think Jamal's working on putting something like that together. How are things going with the house? We adverse possessed. It's still there. We work on it. when we can. It takes notes and bodies to work on it. Nothing happened with the case because the bank that said that they had nothing to do with the house then tried to sue us.
The case is still unassigned.
Yeah, it's
No
unassigned,
judge has done anything with it.
and it's been over a year, so
Have a whole.
It was last November.
yeah.
This is last November.
No more is up here.
But remember when all those 50 Moors came for the other court case?
Yeah.
For the person asking to see his nationality card, once this video is over, you can rewind it and see the nationality card.
I was there.
And I wasn't cursing at people, right?
No.
I wasn't trolling, right? I was serious.
Someone asked, when you got pulled over, Rashad, how did you react? Did you react or did you keep your cool? What was your experience mentally and physically?
I kept my cool.
He sure did.
I already knew what they was gonna do because this happens all the time. So I already knew like I was gonna say. I know I was gonna tell him I don't have a license, but he wasn't gonna just say, okay, just have a good day, and that's it. I already knew it was gonna be repercussions after that. Cause
No, you already knew he was going to violate the law after that.
Oh yeah.
There was no repercussions. It was straight violation of the law.
Yeah. So I already know he's gonna violate the law, and I was gonna get arrested and go through the whole
Unlawfully
thing.
arrested.
Mhm.
Because you didn't violate no crimes. Or you didn't commit a crime. No one was hurt.
Mhm.
None of that.
Yeah.
Cruden versus Neal states that all men are independent of all laws except those prescribed by nature. He's not bound by any institutions formed by his fellow men without his consent. So since you didn't consent to be subject to Massachusetts statutes, they had no reason to do anything to you.
Mhm.
If you were a Massachusetts citizen, then they could do something to you.
Yeah.
Because you consented by being a citizen. But you're not.
Mhm.
So they violated your right. Cruden versus Neal. Look it up.
How did you obtain Zoom video transcripts? You can call the clerk's office and find out how to get that. Amin Bay.
So no one was in there with you holding your hand saying, do this, say that, object to that, do this. It was just you with your own wit
Mhm.
fighting for your life.
Yes. The energy was definitely different. Like just being locked up and just knowing that I had to go through what I had to go through. Just defending myself, my life, and my liberty. Because at the end of the day, when they kidnap you and they throw you in jail, that's all you're gonna have is yourself. And you know, you can make phone calls and things like that, but if you don't have people around you that's supportive or no law, it's just like
You want to show them your sash? My bad.
Yeah.
Continue.
you're definitely gonna have a hard time if you don't have those type of people in your corner.
So, Rashad earned this. This is the Rise of the Moor sash. He earned the degree of adept. I didn't give it to him. I gave him the sash, but I didn't give him the degree of adept. He earned that himself. Because he's able to stand on his own square in the face of severe adversity. Because most people be like, oh no, I'm strongman guy. And get me out forthwith. And here's my social, here's my credit card, here's my bank information, here's the bail money. Let me out. Scared. And yes, I do want an attorney.
Thank you.
Because trust me, there's Moors, I know Moors who they got into a traffic stop, no weapons, no arms, no guns, nothing. Here you go.
Showed
Nothing.
showed
no
straw
guns.
man license.
They got an attorney.
Oh yeah.
Scared.
Well, what about the one more who showed their straw man license and their national ID card?
Oh, yeah, and he still got it.
Cops still pulled him out the car, roughed him up. He had to get surgery on his shoulder.
Nah, but I'm saying there's Moors
Yeah.
that claim to be Moors with their nationality card. They got pulled over and they got an attorney straight abandoned Moor signs. Scared. He didn't have no gun. He wasn't facing no gun charges. It was
Right.
driving without a license. And that's it. Scared. Abandoned their birthright. Abandoned everything Moorish. So he earned that. And that's just is what it is.
And he wasn't in there saying Moorish science did this to me and got me.
Oh, Jamal sent me in here, and I'm in here because Jamal, and Jamal this, and Jamal said, and Jamal, no, none of that. Caveat emptor. This is what it is. Either you're going to fight or you're not going to fight. Period.
And now you know exactly what we're fighting and why we're fighting against this. Not like you didn't already know, but
Yeah, now you know. That was the
yeah.
question.
Someone asked Jamal, is there any paperwork you'd recommend bringing to court?
Your brain. Because honestly, to be honest, paperwork doesn't mean anything. Paperwork is just so you can, if you don't have the context of case law in your brain, you can type it somewhere and then refer to it. You know what I mean? Other than that, it has to be inherent. Like, that's like asking a painter, what study material do you bring to jobs with you when you have to paint? They don't. They have the knowledge. That's the only thing that matters. When Moore's asked about status correction, that's it. It's just your knowledge. That is it. That's it. What makes a painter a painter? Their knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
What makes a doctor? Their knowledge. What makes a lawyer? Their knowledge. What makes a judge? Their knowledge. That's status. Period. That's how you nationalize. Period. So there is no what papers to bring. Right? Now that's one aspect of that question. Another aspect of that question is you can bring documents from the Library of Congress just to substantiate what you already know with documents from them. So you can bring certified copy from the Library of Congress of the treaty. You can bring a certified copy from the state of Georgia, House Resolution 1203. You can bring a certified copy from the state of Illinois, House Resolution 0689. You can bring a certified copy from the Library of Congress, the Proceedings and Debates of the 90th Congress, First Session, Volume 113, Part 12, June 12, 1967, page 15641, et sequa, meaning in sequence, so in all the subsequent pages. You can bring a certified copy from the Library of Congress of Don E. Williams versus the IRS Commissioner. You can bring a certified copy from the Library of Congress of Peoples versus the City of Detroit, Peeples versus the City of Detroit. You can bring a certified copy from the Library of Congress of Craig versus the State of Missouri. Craig versus the State of Missouri. You can bring a certified copy of Weems versus the United States, and then don't ask me what all those things are about. Look it up, read it.
I'm gonna.
And you can research those cases at caselaw.findlaw.com or justia.com.
Someone asked a question about how can felons bear arms again. Weems versus the United States is the case law you're going to want to read to figure out how to do that. And I was laughing at Islam Cujo. Grenchi Cujo asked, he said, Islam Moors, did he use anything other than Moorish ID as proof of his status?
No.
Rashad?
Besides his brain, no.
You want to let Rashad answer?
Oh, yeah, my bad.
No, I didn't use anything else. It was just my nationality card. And the same thing that he just referred to.
Where was your nationality card from?
Where's it from?
Yeah.
Morocco.
No, like, where'd you get it?
Where I get it?
Yeah.
Arabic locations.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I
I was about to say, what he just mentioned for just like all the case laws and the state bills and everything. Article 4, Section 1 says that full faith and credit should be given to every state to the public acts, records, and judicial proceedings of every other state, so they can be used in any court case
as res judicata or stare decisis.
Exactly.
Then he asked if he used Moorish American consulate extraction paperwork.
Alright, so stop. I was part of the consulate during the beginning stages, the foundation stages of it, and they made several claims that they've extracted people. And I, who was a judge, I have the paperwork. I can still show Moore's of my appointment. I have never seen any extraction paperwork at all from the consulate, and I've never seen any Moors come on any calls and testify towards regarding any person from the consulate helping them get out ever.
That was Grenchi Cujo who asked, so he knows there's no extraction paperwork.
I'm adding to his question. I'm substantiating the question and showing you that I've never seen anything. I've heard them say extraction a lot, and they extracted 10 people. I've never seen the 10 people, never heard them do this on video, talk about how they did it, show proof of them being inside and then them being out. You know what I mean? None of that.
Sean J., our nationality cards do not say that we're a citizen of the United States. Those are the new fraudulent nationality cards of the dirty MST of A temples that are dated after the prophet's death. So how can an ID card that's dated after the prophet's death, say
issued by
that,
him.
be issued by him and state that you're a United States citizen. Those are the people who are.
Those are the people that recognize his driver as him reincarnated. That doesn't even make sense. Because reincarnation means, it doesn't imply, it means that you were reborn. Meaning you had to go through the womb. Your spirit had to enter through your mom's body to enter your fetus. You had to be born and then you had to grow up. That's what reincarnation means.
So
So you
yeah,
can't recognize, that's like, right? I'm me, right?
we don't have
You're
those
my driver.
cards.
I die, and then you say you're me reincarnated. How? If I'm sitting next to you, right? My spirit is in this flesh.
Yeah.
Your spirit is in that flesh. So that's occupied, occupado, right? Two things can't exist in the same place at the same time, right? So that means if I die, I can't then go inside you. It's already occupied.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where that comes from. The idiots.
Uh,
I have a question.
yeah.
Would you recommend having a gun in your trunk, right, which is legal, if you do not know law?
Would I recommend it?
Yeah.
If you-
If you did not know law, would you have been carrying that gun in your trunk?
No, I would not. Honestly, I wouldn't. Because I know going through that, I would have to get an attorney and pay them, and more than likely,
Still
I
being there.
feel like I'm still will be facing jail time having an attorney because they're officers of the court. So they just want their cut, and the judge get their cut, and that's it.
Who will have any more questions?
Donation link. You can go to riseofthemoors.org. There's a donation link there.
You know we're live right now. Why are you calling?
Yeah. I tell her I had to decline her call.
Hey, peace. Thank you.
Yeah, she was so concerned. Tell her we're still live. Watch her language.
Oh yeah, we're still live. Watch your mouth. Looking like Future over there. That's right. I'm gonna call you back.
All right, peace.
Someone said you look like Super Saiyan with your hair sticking up, Jamal.
Me?
Yeah.
Super Saiyan.
Whatever. Whatever.
Super Saiyan 4 and you're destroying the name.
Whatever. I'm new to Dragon Ball Z.
Nerd. Well, not nerd. Loser.
Someone said thank you for standing on your square, Rashad. Let me just scroll. When correcting the name, do you change it completely or do you just add L or Bay to the title? That's up to you, yeah.
So the birth certificate is just proof. Like as an example, on my grandmother's alleged birth certificate, which is not hers, it says she's Negroid, right? My mom says black, I think.
No, yeah.
And then mine says African American, although it's not mine. I'm just saying that for the reference so you can understand it. Or comprehend it, in or overstand it, right? So how do we go from Negroid to African American to black? That's proof that they're denationalizing us every generation. So that's why you don't throw it away, because it's proof. So don't throw the actual documentation away. But you can change, you can correct your name to something completely new. It's up to you. You have the right to self-determination. Remember, you are the I am that I am. Just don't name yourself I am. I mean, you can, but I ain't calling you that. I'm saying, hey, what's up?
Ivan Blue, the felons can reacquire rights to bear arms. It's not even just rights to bear arms. Read the case law.
Rights to vote.
Yeah.
Read Weems versus the United States.
WEEMS. WEEM as in Michael, S as in Sam. Weems versus the United States.
Depriving someone of their civil liberties permanently violates the 8th Amendment. Hence, Weems versus the United States. Oh yeah, also for the record, we filed something to assist, Rise and Moors as an organization filed something to assist Rashad. Yeah, we can show it briefly. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Just, you know, because this is what we're supposed to do. And no, the Moorish American Consulate did not help. They never have, never will. That's just the front page. This is what the document's titled.
I don't want it in front of the TV thing.
Oh, my bad.
That's okay. Third party standing. You want to talk about what that means?
I'm gonna let a woke person. No, I'm playing.
A woke. Come on live.
Oh man, it's basically saying that, since he's part of the Rise of the Moors organization, this case doesn't just
Let me see
affect
that again. I'm sorry.
him. Huh?
Let me see it again. I'm sorry.
The case doesn't just
They said the
affect him.
camera went out.
The case doesn't just affect him, it affects us as an organization, because if we have members of our organization who are violent criminals, then that reflects us as an organization. So, of course we have interest in the determination of this case, because Rashad is part of Rise of the Moors. He's associated with Rise of the Moors. So if they find him guilty, they're finding us guilty, because he's not by himself. He's an official member. So that's basically stating that we have interest in this case, and a violation of his rights is a violation of not only our rights as an organization, but everybody's rights. Because if federal law says that you can travel without fear of being arrested with your firearm unloaded and locked away or not easily accessible to you, and then someone gets arrested under those conditions, then that 18 USC subsection 926A shouldn't even exist. If people are still getting arrested for it. So that was the statement, and it's considered First Amendment overbreadth because it covers everything. It covers the whole country, because the whole corporation. Because if 18 USC 926A exists, that means no one in any state of the union should be traveling with their arms secured and not easily accessible to the operator or anyone in the car, and they shouldn't be arrested. That's what that means across the board. So if it happens, it affects everybody. So as an organization, we have the First Amendment right to say something about it.
We only get limited time on these platforms. The video's cut out. Can you guys see us? They said they can only hear us.
Just in the video.
Yeah. Once we put the document, it went out. So.
Oh wait, man, no.
All right. So thanks for tuning in. We're gonna end the live. Sorry about the visual. We love you. Study, study, study. Stand on your square. If you don't know what to study next, study yourselves. Peace.
Study Rashad Bey.
Rashad Bey for president.